Welcome back to the Dave Mierswa Show. I hope everyone is having a great Sunday. This is the second half of my broadcast here today. I am doing 2016 predictions. That's right, 2016 predictions. So, we just got done with break, and I was just talking about Trump and what was going to happen in 2016 in Iowa. I think in Iowa, what's going to go on, he's been the leader. I know the left media discounted Trump, and they also come out, the National Review just came out and tried to label Trump and as a non-conservative and so forth. Yeah, he's got a history. He donated to the left side, the right side, but when you're in business, that's what you do to get business done. So I can't blame him for that. His results speak for themselves. He is a billionaire. But let's listen to my next audio clip to see what are the ratings in Iowa coming up.
All right, you can imagine that is getting to be a very big issue here, Charles. Reporting live from Charleston, South Carolina, the site of the second Fox Business News debate. We are honored to have that honor. Only, 6-7 weeks after Milwaukee, here we are in the beautiful southern city that will define maybe this presidential race, the first debate of the 2016 presidential season. And it comes at a time when the polls are tightening. And look what has just developed in Iowa, where Ted Cruz has been leading almost throughout these last half dozen or so polls. Now Donald Trump has once again reclaimed the lead in one poll in that crucial first-in-the-nation caucus state. Mr. Trump joins us right now on the phone to handicap this race and where he stands. Donald, good to have you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Neil.
Were you surprised in these Iowa numbers? That'll be at one poll. It's always been a tight race, but this shows you back on top in a state that you said you'd like to win. Maybe New Hampshire's a different story, but this was looking like a different story, that it would be tough for you to win in Iowa. You think you could still win Iowa?
No, I'd really like to win Iowa. I'm trying to win Iowa. We're working hard. I'm going there in a little while. I'll be there a lot, and I'm going to try. We're way up in New Hampshire, way up in South Carolina, but I'm trying to win Iowa. I have a great relationship with the people, and as you probably know, about 2 weeks ago, CNN came out with a poll that I'm 30%.
I like doo-wop music. My friends like doo-wop music. But all that counts is you like
great with the evangelicals and great with the Tea Party, and we're doing well in Iowa, so, we're going to try and win it. I know it would be easier for me to say, well, if I can do fairly well, and then we go to New Hampshire where we have a very big lead, but I don't really want to do that. I think we have a good chance to win Iowa.
Do you think that these recent closer poll numbers for Ted Cruz owe to this concern that is he an American citizen, a natural-born citizen? You raised it. John McCain has raised it. Some of his other opponents have raised it, Rand Paul among them. What do you think's going on, and do you think that's a legitimate issue?
Well, it's a very legitimate issue. Even the governor of Iowa, Terry Brent, said, he's a highly respected governor, and he brought it up. A lot of people are bringing it up. It's a real problem. Lawrence Tribe of Harvard, who's a constitutional expert, he feels it's something that's totally unsettled. That the problem you have is if you have him as your candidate, and he's a friend of mine, I like him a lot. But if you have him as a candidate, and you don't know whether or not he's even going to be allowed to run or to serve. I mean, so how can you be voting that way? And I suggested that he get a declaratory judgment from the courts. You go in early, you get a declaratory judgment, and you settle the issue. But this is an issue, as Lawrence Tribe said, is just not a settled issue at all. And it's a big problem. And
but why now? I guess I'm curious. I'm sorry. Why now, Donald, has this become an issue? I mean, obviously you've known, and the two of you seem to get along very well as you've campaigned throughout this long, arduous process. And a lot of people are saying, why now? Why now is this becoming an issue?
Well, first of all, I didn't bring it up. This was brought up by the Washington Post. They asked me a question, one of many, and this was one of the questions. And I said, I have no idea. I just know he was born in Canada. He was not born on this land. And a lot of people think it means you have to be born on the land. You have to be born here. I mean, that's one of the very big interpretations. And that was always what I felt. You know, years ago when I would hear about this, I always felt you had to be born on the land. You can't be born in Canada. And Ted, I believe, was a citizen of Canada, actually, and gave up his citizenship 15, 16 months ago. And, you know, the whole thing is
his
weird.
Canadian citizenship. Yeah.
He was a Canadian citizen. He was a Canadian citizen. So he gave that up probably 14, 15 months ago. The problem is you have a cloud over Ted's head. And that's a big problem because I don't know how you solve it other than going to court and getting a declaratory judgment. I don't see how you can solve it because you know that the Democrats have already announced that they're going to bring a lawsuit.
Let me ask you about the upcoming debates. Rand Paul has indicated because he's on the first debate, the opening debate before the major one that you'll be on.
Okay, so that was Neil Cavuto, who was kind of losing track of what he was interviewing Trump about. But Ted Cruz took the lead away from Trump. And about a month ago, Trump started stumping about Ted Cruz not being a U.S. citizen and not being available to run for U.S. president, let alone for the U.S. Senate. And he's stating that he has to be born on U.S. soil, which is not true. As long as one of your parents is from the United States, and doesn't really matter where you're born. So he did have dual citizenship between Canada and the United States, and that's true about 16, 18, 17 months ago. He did release his Canadian citizenship. So I don't know if that was anticipation of what Trump was going to bring up. But obviously, Trump is a master at creating controversy with anyone. And Ted Cruz is now, I wouldn't call him a victim, but he's now feeling the Trump organization coming after him and creating controversy. You know, it's what they do. If you don't have anything else to talk about, you actually create the controversy, and the media has picked it up. And it's true that the Washington Post did ask Cruz about that, but it has become a hotbed topic now, even though it should be settled. It should be a settled matter. I believe legally that Ted Cruz can run for president, and it shouldn't be an issue, but it is. In the eye of the public, it is an issue. Trump's going to keep stomping that. Trump, you just heard, Trump took the lead over Ted Cruz, which is huge. He was down for about a month. So these polls go back and forth, but this gives you an indication what I was talking about in my prediction, where in 2016 that Trump is going to remain in lead all the way through the Republican caucus. So that's huge. That is so huge. He's not going anywhere. I know the media discounted him and for the longest time, and he's got power to stay. Another thing is he fights back. He absolutely fights back. And that's another thing that Americans like him on. They are so tired of the Washington insiders, and with the Washington insiders, they're apologetic. Look at our president. Our president is almost embarrassed to be an American. I'm not. I'm a true-blooded American. And I don't apologize to anyone for being an American, nor should our president. And yet he seems to go all around the world and apologize for us being Americans and for us being one of the most powerful nations on the planet and affecting freedom throughout the world. But under Obama's watch, a lot of the democratic governments that were once had are no more. There's actually been a reduction in democracy throughout the world under President Obama. His foreign policy is to do nothing. His foreign policy is not to take the lead. He thinks that he's being a leader by actually hiding in the White House. I don't know. I don't know what his foreign policy is. But obviously, he thinks that leading is by being behind a desk and hiding somewhere in the White House. So, unbelievable. But anyway, getting back to Trump. Trump's not going anywhere. Trump is here to stay. All right, moving on to the next biggest topic here. This is going to be huge. This is going to be absolutely a huge issue for 2016 and the next president is immigration. I want to play an audio clip that I played this once before, back in 2015. All my previous shows, I've done shows on civil rights. I've done shows on the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. I've done shows on immigration. I had a great friend of mine, Ricardo, come on my show. He talked about crossing the desert in 6 days. It was almost like it was a verse out of the Bible. And him and his brother crossed the desert to get to America. Right or wrong, he's here. But all my previous shows are on law540.com. Law540.com. And all of my shows are going to be uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you can actually catch a video on it as well. But let me play the next audio here on the cost of immigration.
Well, we've been reporting on these demonstrations taking part in a number of cities across the country. This is the mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Villaraigosa. He is the gentleman, Congressman James Sensenbrenner. His legislation, the subject of these protests, the mayor earlier declaring that it's illegal. And there are no illegals, he said, in this city of his. Let's hear what he's got to say if we can.
We're going to go farther up so you can hear. Everybody step back. Step back, please. Step back. Everyone on the ground.
We'll go back to the mayor if he does have some comments. Apparently just, if you will, working through the crowd or working the crowd, depending on how you look at it. Incredibly, our government doesn't know just how many illegal aliens there really are living in this country, nor does it know exactly how many illegal aliens cross the border each day. They're wide-ranging estimates. But there is something that we do know with certainty about the illegal aliens living in this country. They work, for the most part, very hard, most of them. They have an effect on nearly every aspect of our society and our economy. Christine Romans has the report.
Today, anywhere from 3,000 to 8,000 illegal aliens will cross the border, most disappearing into American society. A wave of illegal immigration affecting every aspect of American life, undercutting wages and jobs for low-skilled Americans and legal immigrants, and crowding classrooms, hospitals, and prisons. Jan Ting is a former immigration official, now teaching law.
We've really cut off the bottom rung of the economic ladder for the less skilled, less educated portion of the American workforce.
According to the Pew Hispanic Center, more people are now coming here illegally than through legal channels. More than half enter without a high school education, and American public schools educate their children. The Federation for American Immigration Reform says taxpayers spend $12 billion a year on primary and secondary school education for children here illegally. Another $17 billion for the American-born children of illegal aliens, known as anchor babies. It is federal law to provide free emergency health care to those here illegally. Congress has set aside $1 billion taxpayer dollars each year to reimburse all hospitals. A total, administrators complain, is a fraction of their costs. Meanwhile, employers hire cheap labor with virtually no risk. The Government Accountability Office found only 3 employers fined in 2004 for illegal hiring, down from 417 in 1999. At the same time, America's criminal justice system is bulging with these citizens of other countries. According to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, 30% of federal prisoners are not U.S. citizens. At a cost of $63 a day, taxpayers spend more than $3 million every day to house non-U.S. citizens in our federal prisons. Most are thought to be illegal aliens. Up to 20 million people are in this country illegally, an incredible boon for companies, but allowing limitless illegal.
Okay, so that's going to be a huge hotbed topic, is legal immigration and the cost on our society. I think you're going to see the Democrats will say that, they actually have a right to have tax benefits, our tax benefits given to them. The Republicans, obviously, Trump wants to build the wall and so forth, and so the Republicans are mostly anti-immigration and not giving the benefits. And then you also heard that up to a third of the federal prisoners are some kind of immigrants, undocumented immigrants. So at a cost of billions and billions and billions of dollars per year, and that's just at the federal level. That doesn't even count. It doesn't even count how much it's costing us at the state level. So, going to be a huge, huge topic. The next one that I want to talk about is, let me play audio clip here. I think this is going to be huge. Is going to be Hillary's emails. That controversy is not going anywhere. In fact, there was super secret information that it was beyond top secret. And this information that she had was about information on drone strikes. It was just released a week ago that she had this on her server in her unprotected servers and emails. So let me play the next audio clip by Judge Andrew Napolitano from Fox News. It's a 7-minute clip, so I'm going to see what I can get in here.
Also tonight, new fallout from reporting we brought you on dozens of top-secret emails found on Hillary Clinton's server. A new report indicates that some of the emails contained information about controversial drone strikes. This is the stuff that's even more secret than top secret. And earlier tonight, the Weekly Standard's Stephen Hayes said if anyone else had information like that, he's being told by professionals they would not be treated with kid gloves.
I talked to 3 national security lawyers who deal with this for a living. I mean, this is all they do today. And they all said, without exception, there's no question this person would have lost her clearances if this were a senior GS-14 or 15 employee. Probably would have lost his or her job and possibly would have already been indicted.
Judge Andrew Napolitano is our Fox News senior judicial analyst. Do you agree with that?
I do. I would actually go a couple of steps further than Steve and suggest that Mrs. Clinton should be consulting very high-powered national security criminal defense lawyers, that is, criminal defense lawyers who have national security clearances so they can see the evidence against her, to negotiate with the FBI, because the case against her is overwhelming, damning, and from her perspective, grave. And when she says there's no there, when she laughs about it, when she says this is the re-suggesting of an old New York Times story, she's effectively mocking the 100 FBI agents that are investigating.
Even today, she said that she never sent or received classified information.
That infuriates me, Megan, because that's a word game when she says, I neither sent nor received anything marked classified. I'm making the quotation marks with my fingers because nothing is marked classified. It is marked confidential, secret, top secret. And under top secret, there are 4 sub-markings, the most sensitive of which is this select access privilege, which is what 24 of her emails had on there. That is the most secret information the government has.
But unlike David Petraeus, her supporters are saying she didn't willingly, she's not being accused of willingly sharing this information with people. That's what he did when he gave this information to his biographer. And so if she was merely negligent in not protecting it, criminal charges?
Absolutely. I happen to think that intent should be an element of criminal charges. That's just me. This particular law expressly says intent is not an element, meaning the government doesn't have to prove that she intended. Her negligent treatment of national security secrets, her failure to safeguard and store national security secrets
on a server that the Russians and the Chinese may have hacked into.
Correct. Can be the basis for a criminal prosecution. We're not talking about one. We're not talking about a loose leaf in a desk like General Petraeus. We're talking about hundreds.
They're saying 2 things tonight. First of all, they're saying they think that this Inspector General for the intelligence community who is Obama's appointment, is in cahoots with the Republicans to hurt her with leaks. And secondly, they are saying this stuff that we're all treating as like so scary, it's stuff that could have appeared in a newspaper, that the CIA would treat classified information as classified, even like if it's about a drone strike and it appears in the New York Times, but it's also in her email, they'd say that's classified.
There's a bona fide argument to be made that the government classifies too much information, but not at the SAP category. That is the highest level of classification. Do you know what type of information is in there? The names of moles, black ops, that is secret programs that the government wants to deny the existence of. For her to have put that on an open server while she's the Secretary of State is absolutely grossly negligent and must be the basis for an indictment.
It's getting more dangerous for her on that side. Judge, good to see you.
Okay, that was Megyn Kelly in an interview with Judge Napolitano. And you heard that it's called SAP, Select Access Privilege. This is going to be huge in the next couple of months. And coming after Hillary, I don't know if Bernie Sanders is going to jump on this bandwagon. Was about 2 months ago, and he said enough of hearing these emails. And so I don't know if he's going to be patting the back of Hillary or not, but you can certainly be rest assured that the Republicans are going to definitely play this one up. And you also heard that over 100 FBI agents have been looking into, here's another thing, not only the charges from the emails, and then violation of the SAP, the Select Access Privilege information, which is the highest confidential top secret you can have, but also, mark my words, this is huge. These 100 agents are investigating the Clinton Foundation and the monies that she took in while she was part of the State Department. So that's huge. That is so huge. And in law, we have what's known as a conflict of interest. If I represented someone and have secrets or whatever it is, I can't represent a person against that person. That would be a conflict. So in law, we call this a conflict of interest. Also, there are criminal sanctions against someone who misuses their position of power to gain money. Remember Blagojevich? Blagojevich tried to sell a Senate seat. He didn't make any money. And I believe he got 16 years in prison. 16 years in prison, and he didn't make any money. And here we have Clinton, Bill, and Hillary. Hillary, who was part of the State Department, her job was to go around all the countries around the United States and progress and talk about America and make our foreign policy, which there was none, go forward across America and keep up relations. And behind her was Bill Clinton allegedly accepting money for the Bill Clinton and the Hillary Clinton Foundation. And don't you see that as a conflict of interest? Literally tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars from foreign governments were accepted into her foundation. I call that a conflict of interest. So I got a few seconds left here, and then I got to cut you loose. So those were my 2016 predictions, and it was a privilege to be with you here on the radio. Make sure the next week is going to be the Iowa caucus, so make sure you check out the politics and all that's going on. So again, I hope you take care of your family and friends out there. You've been listening to Dave Mierswa with the Dave Mierswa Show. You take care now. I'll be back next week, next Sunday at 12 noon. Take care now. Bye.